Ever walk outside, take a look at your tomatoes? Mine are in containers, but you take a good look and you notice, what's this? This nasty white powder all over the leaves. See this? It looks like baby powder splotches. It's kind of gross, hey? And I don't know what the heck it is. So did a little research, did a little digging, and now I'm going to pass along my learnings to you. Hey again, home gardeners. This is Nick with Planted TV, and I just wanted to show you something cool that I came across the other day. Not so cool in that I was inspired looking into it because of this. And if you can take a good look here, that is what we call powdery white mildew on tomato plants. Now, this tomato plant is a cutting that I grew just for kicks, but it gives you an example. Hey, I can pick it up, but the other ones are a lot bigger, so I kind of needed to find something I can actually lift up and hold in front of the camera. But as you can see there's a decent amount of it floating around still. This is one of the plants I actually hadn't sprayed down very well. What I did do though is spray down all of my bigger plants, which sadly were all in proximity of each other, and they were all about a foot apart, and they all seemed to pick it up because, from what I understand, powdery white mildew spreads very easily on contact, and spores pass along in the air. So it's fungal spores that float around between plants, get on your hands, get on your cutters, anything else that you're using to trim your plants back or to doing any cleaning, and they get around very easily. So what I ended up using was a pretty cool solution. I am here in my front yard. Sunny day, which is rare around these parts, but we're getting there. Last few days, I think, of summer here in Vancouver, and I'm dealing with some what looks like powdery white mildew on the leaves of my tomato plants. So you can see here, only noticed this in the last 24 hours or so, but there are some leaves that are looking like they're getting a pretty good coating of it. So these ones I've been spraying down. These guys over here I haven't sprayed down. You can tell there's looks like powdery white mildew on the leaves here. This one specifically looks like it's got a pretty good coating of it going on. You can see it looks like baby powder on the leaves. Not the greatest. I only noticed it in the last probably since yesterday at some point. Didn't have time to deal with it, and now here I am, a sunny day at least. But pruning off the leaves that look like they're dying completely, and then spraying down with a mixture of water and 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar in a liter of water, so about a quart. Seems to be working so far. I mean, at least it looks like the leaves are cleaning off pretty well right away. So see how it goes, and I'll report back after a day or two. Supposedly this is supposed to work within a couple of days, and this is the first time I'm dealing with powdery white mildew. So in the meantime, I'm just cutting off the leaves that seem to be not looking so hot. Thankfully, we've already harvested a decent amount of tomatoes off these plants, so it won't be too much of an issue since we're probably at the end of the growing season anyways. But you know what? Doing what we can, but so far already taken off a decent amount of foliage that probably isn't necessary anyways. It's below the lowest fruit on the plant anyhow. So wish me luck. Hopefully this works. So now it's day 2. It's been about 24 hours since I sprayed these plants down. I thought maybe I'd give you guys an update. It's getting on evening. I probably should have done this in the morning, but I kind of panicked when I saw what was happening yesterday and thought to myself, I need to do this right now. So panic level is subsiding because, as I'll show you, things have improved quite a bit. But I figured, it's been only 24 hours. This is a pretty good sign. What I ended up using was 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. I believe you can use white vinegar if you want. Red wine vinegar, I have no idea if that would work or not. I'm assuming any kind of vinegar is probably solid. I was recommended, based on what I read, to do the apple cider thing, but you can also use neem oil. You can use baking soda. I don't have the measurements on hand, but if you Google those, you'll find them. But in any case, basically this is 1 liter, equivalent approximately to 1 quart, and it's about 50 mils different. But 2 teaspoons in here, and that was all. And this is just for water, but so ignore the labeling on here. But spray bottle, spray the leaves, top and bottom. So you just don't want to have anything kind of carrying over. You want to make sure that you get everything. And I clearly didn't get everything, but got enough that it's much better than it was yesterday. So I just thinking that one more pass with the spray bottle will do the job and kill it off completely. So if this looks like an awkward spot for tomato plants, it's because it is. This is my front door, and I don't really want to have them here, but I've had some issues with tomato thieves in the area, and we had to kind of start hiding our container tomato plants. So I ended up having to move them out here. As you can see, these guys are looking quite a bit healthier. Still a little bit of evidence here of some powdery white mildew on the leaves, but nowhere near as bad as it was yesterday. A lot of the affected leaves were in pretty bad shape, so I ended up having to trim off probably half of the leaves of my plants, but thankfully most of the fruit was above the leaves I ended up taking off, and it does seem to affect leaves at the bottom of the plant first, so it kind of works its way up, which I'm assuming comes mostly from the soil down here, and it's kind of back spraying up. And I did mulch my plants a decent amount, but you know what? I guess nothing's enough. Plus, we had some rain pretty heavily the last 2 days prior to it being sunny for a couple of days. So I think that combination of weather shifting back and forth is probably what triggered it. And then the fact that I had all my plants in pretty close proximity. I've spread these out a bit, and they're probably about 2-3 feet apart now. Still not the greatest location for tomatoes. In any case, these look a little small. It's because these are actually determinate beefsteak tomatoes. So they grow to about 4 feet high. And now that I've pared them down, they look a little runty, but I've actually taken probably half the fruit off of these already. And there's still a pretty good chunk. As you can see on this guy, he's got still another, 8 or 10 tomatoes on here that are all looking pretty good, and they're going to ripen pretty fast. But on the upside, one of the better ones, the leaves are in much better shape. Now there's still a few hints, and I think one more pass with the spray, you can see there's a couple little tiny spots still left. Another pass with the spray will probably do it and get rid of it completely. This one's got a little bit worse still going on. You can see this one's got a couple of leaves that are pretty powdery, but I think that's just because I ran out of spray partway through. And, maybe I'll give that another try today or tomorrow. So, but I think it's good enough that I'm satisfied with the outcome, and it cost me absolutely nothing because I already had the apple cider vinegar. So, it's just water. That's it. So didn't have to buy anything fancy. That totally worked. And I will now know what to do if this happens again, which is awesome. So there you have it. Powdery white mildew. If you have to get rid of it, now you know what to do. So thanks for watching. I hope that was useful, educational, or at least gave you some sort of information that you didn't have yesterday. Please do throw us a like. We do appreciate that, and every like goes towards the good old YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I will make more for you. If the more subscriptions I get, the more I will make. And I'm Nick signing out with Planted TV, and we'll see you in the next one.